everybody to an all new episode of GVN Reviews. This episode, me and Trevon will be breaking down the brand new trailer or the final trailer for Marvel's The Eternals. For some strange reason, this trailer came out at 3 a.m. I don't know what the hell their marketing department was thinking. But it dropped at 3 a.m. Luckily, I don't sleep, so I was up at 3 a.m. watching this a million times. When were you able to check this out, Trevon? This morning, right?
Yeah, like 7:30 when I was getting ready. Yeah. I'm more curious on them dropping it in August. And the movie, this is the final trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the movie that come out till November. I'm a little afraid of clips. Like, cause that's what they usually start doing. Is little clips of the movie. I'm a little afraid I'm doing that. Like, we got like 3 months or 2 months away. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do now.
Usually clips don't start till a little closer to the release of the movie. So it'll probably be around like late October, early November. But I mean, hey, if they're that confident in it, that's all we need. I mean, think about it like this. Even though I've heard rumors we'll be getting a Spider-Man trailer or a CinemaCon will be getting a Spider-Man trailer soon. We're getting eerily close to December. You know what I'm saying? And there's no trailer for Spider-Man at all.
Right.
So, when you have a project you're confident about, I guess it's just one of those things where it's like, hey, regardless if we put a trailer out now or later, people are either going to see it or they're not. You know what I'm saying? And Marvel is just confident now to where it's like, they're going to come see my shit. They're going to come, But all right. So me and Trevon are going to break down this trailer pretty much moment by moment as the trailer goes on. All right. So you ready, Trevon?
Yep.
All right. So we see an opening shot. This is a beautiful opening shot, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
I love the conversation here of, the Thanos snap, how it affects people. So clearly this movie takes place 5 years after this snap.
Which I really like addressing that. Yeah.
Right. And
this moment here,
all right,
maybe think of X-Men.
Pause it right here, right where it explodes on Earth. Okay. All right, so this is where they changed it in the comics. So in the comics for the Eternals, when the Celestials landed on Earth, they experimented on people, quite like we'll be finding out about the Inhumans. Not the Celestials working on Inhumans, but that's how the Eternals were made. So they were experimented on, and then they were created by the Celestials. In creating them, caused an event that created deviants. So that's how deviants were made, from all this energy that was consumed making the Eternals. In this, it seems as though what brings the deviants is the amount of energy that Snap took, not once, but twice. The amount of energy that sent out. It seems as though they're saying that is what causes this event that then spawns the deviants. So I thought that was really... Go ahead, Trevon.
And then technically there's been, if you split them up, I guess it was 2 snaps after the 5-year gap, but technically there were 3 altogether on Earth, right? The first snap that Thanos did, and then the second one where Hulk brought everybody back, and then again when Iron Man snapped.
Oh, so you're right. So 3. So the 3. Yeah. So the 3 snaps. I'm sorry. The 3 snaps is what caused this event that led to us getting deviants. All right, so let's continue. This is a beautiful shot of major flood. And then it's like, how long do we have? 7 days. I felt like The Grudge or something. I know what the hell's going on here. Beautiful shot of the Marvel Studios logo. That's the Celestials. I don't know what this gym is about.
What is that? Yeah, I was like, what is that? That goes...
Now pause it here.
Okay.
Where it shows the little boy at on the shore.
This when they first came down, I'm assuming.
Yes. So now this is another thing they changed in the comics. They were not Eternals before landing on Earth. The Celestials landed on Earth, created the Eternals because they were experimenting on people. So that was very interesting that they decided to go with here. They had already been Eternals. This was nothing new. They've been Eternals. So I thought that was interesting. Also, that is a beautiful shot of, it looks like Icarus landing down to join the rest of the team.
And the other,
Right. Now, also, I want to point this out. We're going to see it as the trailer goes on, but I want to point it out now because I know I'm going to forget. In the comics, they describe the Eternals' powers as all the same. They can all fly. Right. They can all use projection. But some of them do have different abilities than the other, as we see Angelina Jolie's character can conjure
weapons.
We know what's his name's character can has the scientific mind to create.
I can't think of it. Faustus, yeah.
He can create weapons. We know Sprite has the ability to wipe minds. And one of them, I can't remember who, has amazing speed. So some of them do have differences, but I think overall, you know what you can compare it to? You know how like Wonder Woman can fly, Wonder Woman is super strong, but she can't shoot lasers out of her eyes.
Right.
So it's the similarity in strength and flight. And then it starts to break down differently for every.
Well, you see, I mean, that he gave off, is it Icarus? Gave off very much Superman vibes for me.
Oh, 100%. Joel, me and Joel were talking 3 a.m. this morning, and he was just like, bro, we got Superman in Marvel. And I'm like, yeah, we got Superman in Marvel. All right, let's keep going.
Okay.
And this is our first shot at the Deviants, and then Icarus flying towards them.
See, can we pause right here? I have a question about this.
So wait. Before you go for it, I pause it right at where you see like the knight.
About to slash somebody's head.
Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. So, see, this is why I'm wondering, because they're talking about the Deviants. They're there only to help with that. That scene that we just saw made it seem like that was at the very beginning when they first got there, because they were still in that same beach where you see the kid. So did they fight the Deviants 7,000 years ago? And now they're coming again. That's what I'm wondering.
I want to let this play a little bit more, and then I'm going to explain that, because there's a point coming up, and then I'm going to explain it all. All right. Well, let me not say explain it. I'm going to theorize it. Let's keep playing. I'm going to tell you when to stop it.
All right. Cool.
All right. It's a beautiful shot. We get the line of, where were you during Thanos and all the other events?
Yes.
And then this shot, pause it. All right. Right there. Boom. So Black Knight, played by Kit Harington, asked, where were you guys during Thanos, essentially during the Battle of New York? Everything, right? Thor the Dark World happened on Earth. So it's like all these events that happened that the Eternals could have came in and just like that, stopped it. The response was, we were told we were not allowed to get involved. And he was like, by who? And then we see the most let me just say
crazy. So
the fact that the Celestial looks this good.
Yeah.
I'm not mentally ready for how beautiful Galactus will be. I'm not mentally ready.
This does give you very much a good feeling seeing this. You're like, okay, we're not gonna get a cloud.
Yeah. Look, because when you look at this isn't a shot of this figure looking small. He looks ginormous.
He does.
Now, granted, Galactus is bigger than that. But to me, I am realistic. If Galactus is around the same size as this Celestial looks to be, I'd be fine with that. I don't need him that much. I just need him to where when we see the heroes, they look like ants.
Yeah.
So however you can do that, I'm fine. But let's get to this. So she's saying that the Celestials told them they are not allowed to get involved.
Right.
Here's where it differs from the comics. The Celestials tasked the Eternals with surveying Earth to see if it was worthy enough to continue to exist. If not, they would destroy it. If so, they would leave it be.
That sounds a lot like Galactus. Is it good enough for me to come eat?
Right.
Yeah.
Except Galactus, he's never of I'll spare it. He's just, can I eat it or do I just blow it up? The Celestials are more so, do I let it stand, or if they give nothing, if they're producing nothing worthy, just get rid of it. So in this, they're saying they were tasked with being here purely to protect Earth from deviants. But in the comics, their goal was just to scope out Earth to let them know. And every 100 years or something like that, they would land and kind of just check in like, yo, they good? All right, bet. All right, see y'all later. So in this, it seems, as you were making the point before, that they're here for the deviants. So it does seem as though the deviants existed then.
Yeah.
They stopped them, and then the snap might have been the energy to bring them back. Again, we're theorizing here. I don't want anyone to take any of this as fact. We don't know anything. We don't work for Marvel. We didn't scope out the project when they were filming. This is just theories. So this is interesting.
It is.
I do like how close to the vest they're hiding Kit Harington's Black Knight. We haven't seen the sword. We haven't seen the get up, what his costume will look like. Nothing. We haven't seen anything.
Do you think he even suits up at the end, like during the movie, or just at the end?
Oh, for sure. Because to me, Black Knight isn't someone you give. I mean, I could be wrong, but Black Knight's not someone you give their own show to or their own movie to. He is an ensemble guy. You know what I'm saying? So he's someone that is in this, and then that will be in an Avengers movie down the line. He would be in Eternals 2. But again, look, I could be wrong. Hawkeye is an ensemble guy, and he has his own show. So, who knows? Black Knight could get his own show. But to me, I'd find it very, very, very weird if he did not at least sport the sword in this movie. If he doesn't have his costume, I could live with that. But not having the sword, my question would then be, why'd you even put him in this movie?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's his true purpose of actually being here? But all right, let's keep going.
Okay, cool.
All right, so after that shot of the Celestial,
it's November.
They have such beautiful shots.
Yeah, it does.
This essentially is the dialogue of, we got to get the band back together again. And that's Sprite saying this is what the end of the world looks like. I do love that line by Brian Tyree.
Yeah.
And in their ship, this looks beautiful. So pause it here.
Wakanda vibes.
So it looks like, you know what? Shame on AJ for not joining, because I was actually going to give him credit, because there's a line at the end of this trailer that speaks to what he's been preaching for the longest, but I'm not going to give him any credit because it's not here. So when they say they have to get the band back together, in the comics, Sprite does wipe their mind so that they can go about living normal lives amongst Earth. So this might be the same case. This might be the same case as she wipes their minds. In the comics, over time, they started to realize who they were. This might be one of the things to where once they kind of see what's going on, it maybe jumpstarts things, or maybe the snap is what brings back their memories. But if they're living ordinary lives, it wouldn't make any sense to change it. So I assume they will go the route of Sprite, wipe their minds so that they could actually live out regular lives where they weren't being protectors or saviors. And that's why I believe, because now my question is, if they do go that route, when did they snap out of it to know to stay out of the fight? Because if your mind was wiped, you didn't know to be a part of the fight because you didn't know who you were. You thought you were John Deere, the construction man. You didn't think you were this super powered being. So it seems like they snapped out of it but somewhere between Infinity War and the 5 years of Endgame.
Maybe the energy was enough to snap them out.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Maybe. So yeah, so maybe that's what snapped them out, and then they were just like, "Oh damn, this is crazy," but I can't get involved. Like,
right.
I just have to sit here and just, if he destroys Earth, he destroys Earth. So that's very interesting. And then we get obviously our money shot here of the team assembled. The director said that was a surreal experience for her, seeing them all come together. I mean, look, it's not as iconic because we haven't seen the movie yet, but there's very few times where seeing the team assemble in the MCU kind of gives you chills. The first time in the Avengers movie where they circled,
right.
Probably in Endgame when they all, Avengers assemble. Those are really the only two times in the MCU where seeing people assemble was just like, I got chills. Like that was awesome.
It's funny to see like so many of them too. It's like 9 of them. Yeah.
Oh wait, you mean of Eternals?
Yeah, of Eternals.
Oh, I thought you meant of
so many.
Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. You're right.
9 of them. It's crazy. Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
All right.
Sprite using her magic.
I like how all their powers are like gold. Energy. Yeah.
And I love the line, when you love something, you protect it. And that's them, saying that they've fallen in love with Earth. Yeah. They love what it stands for.
And this shot right here with this gun hand or whatever, that's
pause
awesome.
it here.
Yeah.
Now, that is a shot of a deviant. That's the deviant in its larger form. Now, I will tell you, 3 o'clock in the morning, this next shot we're about to get scared the hell out of me. Because I was not expecting to see his face looked really terrifying. The deviant, when they showed his face with the eyes, it was just like, why do you look so weird? But what was your thoughts seeing the deviant shot right there?
I mean, I thought it was really. You talking about when she's fighting it, or when he grabs? No,
the shot of the green deviant when he's just like.
Oh yeah. When he holds her, is like you can't help any of them.
No, not yet. So you remember the shot where she formed the shield and the spear?
Yes.
The shot right before that of the deviant kind of floating. Go back a little bit.
Oh, right there. Okay.
Yeah.
It just looks. So it's a deep. Like I thought, like the other things look more demon. Like this looks more technological. This green thing is up here. I was like, huh. They're gonna be. I think is that like more of the general, and then those other things just like attack dogs, or all of them deviants. Like
they're all.
I was wondering.
Let me just.
I was wondering.
I believe they're all deviants, just different forms of deviants.
Okay.
But again, I could be wrong. They could be attack dogs. They for sure could be attack dogs. Now, I do want to go over this too. The shot of the volcano erupting.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe they are causing a mass disruption that will result in a cataclysmic event that may be. And again, remember how I told you the Celestials experimented on people, and that's how we got Eternals. I wonder if maybe that's the same recipe on how we get mutants. If at some point they were doing something that they had no business doing, and that's how mutants formed. We're putting a lot. I'll say this. I know me and Joel have been saying this since this movie was first announced, that Eternals could be how we get mutants. But I think we're putting a lot of pressure on this movie. Because this movie having... No, go ahead.
No, for me, as soon as when I was watching, the first thing I thought of when I heard the word emergence and the energy, it just kind of, for me, I know I shouldn't thought this way, but it confirmed for me that what I was thinking about the energy going across the planet 3 times would mutate people. That's what I thought. And I was like, oh, emergence. and then they were talking about the deviants. I was like, is that just like a misdirect? Yes, it might have brought the deviants, but did it do something else? Like, so that's like, so that was my thought.
Apparently in one of the newer Marvel books, it states that what do you call it? The snaps radiation.
Yeah.
Brought out people's mutant genes. A la Scarlet Witch, a la Quicksilver. So it is possible. Snapping 3 times, that amount of cosmic
a lot of energy
radiating amongst the world. Yes, it's very possible. Again, my only issue with that is you can't have
Wolverine and
you can't have a modern day Wolverine. You can't have a modern day Magneto and Charles Xavier.
Well, you can. It just won't be the way we expect it. They can do it.
And I think
they shouldn't. Maybe not. I don't think they should.
I think you understand you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. You should not do that. There has to be a historical factor to the X-Men. And that's why I said maybe Eternals is not how we get mutants. Maybe it's not. You know, again, they've been here for a millennium, you know, so it's like it's possible, yes, at any point. But that's why I said it should be that mutants have always existed, but an event happened, quite like Civil War, that ended in S.H.I.E.L.D. telling them they had to live in isolation. And it would be an act of war to come back here. And, you know, they lived on Genosha. In the comic books, Magneto does create a mutant safe land called Genosha, and that's where they lived. Now, obviously, Xavier and the X-Men were, you know, upstate New York. But yeah, so to me, it's just the idea of we're welcoming in Joe from Just Your Average Joe. What up, Joe?
Hey, Joe.
Hey, what's up?
All right, so we are talking. We're at the 206 mark of the trailer because we're breaking it down as we're watching it.
Okay.
So we're at the shot where the volcano's erupting. If you want to go to that shot and then just pause it there. But what we were just talking about was the idea that Eternals could spun the creation of mutants.
Fantastic Four, anything.
Yeah. Well, Fantastic Four, I don't think so, because whatever this emergence is, I hope they're not. I was just actually saying this to Trevon. I hope they're not saying this causes something now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, well, Wolverine has been around since like World War I.
Right.
Xavier and Magneto were around during the Holocaust. So it's like you creating the X-Men or mutants today would be really weird. You know what I'm saying? Like a millennial Wolverine. I don't think I ever want that.
The way I took it, the way I saw it though, is it's more of them planting seeds and telling us where they came from and where they were from the beginning. Not that they're being created now, but in essence that they were here and this is where they were. So I don't think we are. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a millennial Wolverine. I think they're just going to show us where the seeds were planted, and then that's going to be the explanation of where they've been.
Then that's fine. But I was telling people, Fantastic Four can't come from this. X-Men
Right.
can.
X-Men makes more sense. Yeah.
Right. I think a lot of people forget Fantastic Four was a scientific anomaly.
Yes.
So that's more so
energy, right?
Right. That's more so they could have gone into space. Thanos snap happened, and maybe that's what created the Fantastic Four. But X-Men and mutants, that can be Eternals for sure, because that could be something that happened 8,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And it just trickled down to where now it's the extreme exposure of it.
Yeah.
But all right, so Joe, before we go any further, you saw this trailer already, right?
Twice.
Okay. So I was telling Trevon what they changed for this movie from the comics is, in the comics, the Celestials landed on Earth, experimented on people, and that's what created Eternals. In this movie, it looks like they landed already being Eternals. So that's one change. And then the second change is, in the comics, the Eternals were tasked with just kind of scoping out Earth to make sure it was worthy. And
Mhm.
every so, let's say 50 to 100 years, the Celestials would land back and go, is it cool? Are they worthy? They're good. It's good. If not, I'll blow it up. If it is, I'll leave it big. In this, they're saying they were tasked with just being here to stop the deviants. And it looks like Trevon was making this point that maybe this is their second fight against the deviants. They first landed to fight them, they won, and then it looks like maybe Sprite wiped their minds so they could live regular lives. And then the Thanos snap caused the reemergence of new deviants. And then that's the second fight where it's like, how many days left do we have before essentially all shit hits the fan? And it's like 7 days. And then this is when, Sprite has to bring the team back together. And then we get the new fight against the deviants.
My question is, because they explain, well, there's a little line of dialogue in the trailer about why they didn't interfere with the Thanos snap. And it said something about they only interfere when there's feelings involved. Is that did I hear that right? Is that
when
what they said?
Deviants are involved.
When
So those
deviants are
creatures,
involved. Okay,
those
that's
creatures.
okay.
Deviants.
So that's my question, actually. That I'm glad that was the line of dialogue. I thought Thanos was a deviant.
No. He's essentially a all right, so it's weird because he is a like distant cousin of them. But he is a form of a deviant, but he's not exactly a deviant. So the idea is, because obviously we know he's from the world Titan. He's a Titan, right?
Yeah.
So essentially the deviants these are pure deviants, if that makes any sense. Thanos is it's like some of him, but he's not really like a pure deviant. It's why when you see them fighting the deviants, if you notice, the deviants don't need anything to exacerbate their power. Thanos essentially is just Hulk, unless he has the gauntlet, to which then gives him the added boost of power.
Gotcha.
So they're different. They're different.
Okay.
Yeah, they're different.
But I wasn't wrong by saying that, right? I was almost positive they referred to Thanos being a deviant of his is it of his species or something like that? I thought that was something that was said about Thanos. That was the only confusion I had with that scene in the trailer. That's it, because I
wonder, I mean, they seem to, they mentioned Thanos, and so I was like, I wonder if they
No, that is incorrect. He's actually an Eternal.
Who? Thanos?
Yeah.
But a deviant, but a deviant, no?
So hold on, because I got his bio right here.
Okay.
Which, by the way, again, I promoted this before. Anyone who wants to know anything about Marvel, buy it.
Oh, I see you have. You notice what it has right in the on the front, new edition.
Yes.
I have the white. I have the thick white one. That came
you
out.
you gotta get the new one because it actually talks about the multiverse.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I have that one in my room. Actually, yeah, I got it right here.
And it's crazy because it's pricey, but it's damn worth it. Okay, so here we go.
Oh, wait, this isn't it at all. This is actually the Spider-Man Ultimate Guide. I thought this was the encyclopedia.
So that's the Stan Lee one, to where he was just like, they just do a Spider-Man. All right, so let me read this. Read this because you are right. We are both right. So let me read this, Joe. Born on Titan, Thanos is one of the godlike race called the Eternals. Much to the horror of his parents, Thanos is born with the deviant gene, hence his brutal appearance. His mother saw his dark future and tried unsuccessfully to kill him while he was a baby, which would have been funny to know when Rhodey made that comment of like, let's just go back and
That's actually funny.
That would have been a really funny callback. So yes, so he has the gene of the deviants, but he's not.
I said it wrong. I said the deviant of his species. I knew that they had something to do with the way he looked.
Yeah, and
that's why they said, because he looked nothing like his family.
Right.
And I do remember somewhere hearing he was part Eternal as well. And I think that's why I think he's like a distant cousin of what's her face's character, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Athena, right? That's her name.
Yeah,
right?
Athena.
Yep. So yeah, so I mean, this is like I said, this is interesting, and I'm sorry to correct myself. It's I think I read here, it's every few million. Yes, the Celestials return 1,000,000 years later to judge the results of their experiments. The world, if the world is judged favorably, it is allowed to continue. If not, it is cleansed of life. So we were talking before, Joe, before we finish out the trailer, we were talking before and we said, if the Celestials look that good, we are mentally not ready for Galactus. Like Galactus, once we get there, someone said this before. Someone said, once you get to Galactus, what does Marvel do after that? And I said, after that, you don't need to do anything. You literally could just say, you know what? We'll pull a Star Wars. We'll take 10 to 15 years off, and then we'll just reboot the MCU, where you can make things completely different, right?
Yeah.
To
well,
me,
now you have X-Men
you
from the
go.
beginning.
Exactly. You don't have to
beginning.
explain anything. You can do something completely new, completely different. Take 10 to 15 years off and just reboot it.
Yeah.
And you know, people say, well, won't people get fatigued by then? I think people forget we're approaching 20 years of Marvel movies. 20 years. If people ain't been fatigued yet, it won't be anytime soon. I'll say that. It might come another 10 to 15 years from now, but it won't come in the next, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And I think by that point, we'll be approaching the Galactus mark. You know what I'm saying?
These movies are fun. They're just, they're escapes. Like, we're never get tired of escapes.
The point the person was making was cowboy movies were that. Western movies were escapes. People loved Western movies. Yeah. And then one day, no more Western movies. So I don't think this will have that, because I think what you're doing now is there are kids now being raised to this. So they're now just being, you know what I'm saying, exposed to this. So they have another shelf life of time they want to experience these characters in these movies. So I don't think it'll die anytime soon.
I think the problem with anything that has oversaturation of anything is just the quality. As long as the quality remains, I don't see why people wouldn't go out and watch it.
Right.
You know, I mean, we've had over 100 years of comic books, and people still collect comic books. They're not going to stop. The only way they'll stop reading it is if they don't like the storyline, or if just the quality of it, or the drawings or the illustrations aren't as good. That's the only way. I mean, I think with Westerns, the reason why they went, if I'm not mistaken, was the quality. I don't think it was because people got tired of Westerns. So I think
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I just think, in short, I really don't know much about Westerns, so I shouldn't have put that in there. But my point is, I think when it comes to anything, too much of something may be no good, but at the same time, as long as the quality, like this movie itself, I knew nothing about the Eternals. I'm not gonna lie. Right. This movie, this especially this trailer, I can't wait to see it. I think it looks amazing. Yep. I do. I think it actually might for me. And I don't know. I know you said yesterday on your show that Infinity War is a superior film. I happen to like Endgame a little bit better, but I still that's my number 2 is Infinity War. I think this is going to give those two movies a run for its money. I really do. I think this is going to be that on that grand of a scope.
Yeah, just off this trailer, I have it number 2 to Infinity War until I see it. And then I could maybe put it above Infinity War. But Infinity War, the reason why it's my number 1, and then we'll go on to finish the trailer, it acts as a sequel, but it's really the first part of 2. Because I always tell people, in your first movies where you set up the story, and then in your sequels where you could just go balls to the wall with action and visuals, because people now already know these characters.
Right.
We did it in reverse. Infinity War was the balls to the wall action, and then Endgame was your story. That was your, you know what I'm saying? That was your potatoes. Your meat was Infinity War. And to me, I didn't like that. I kind of thought Infinity War kind of gave me enough story to know where I'm at. And then when I sit through Endgame, I always tell people, I remember my sister was like, should I watch Endgame? And I'm like, of course. I'm like, but if you want, you literally can skip 45 minutes into this movie before it really gets good. And then from right when they're about to go time travel, right when Stark arrives. From that point to the end of that movie is literally, in my opinion only, the best parts of that movie. Everything before that is kind of like a prelude. It's like, this is where you could really go to the bathroom, because like Steve shaving and Captain Marvel dropping the plane, that's not something that if you miss, it's like, oh damn, I missed that. No, it's like, well, I could just fill that in for you. But when they start time traveling, you need to be there because conversations are happening that are important. Moments are happening. Start seeing his dad again. So that's why I said Infinity War, there's literally no point.
I agree.
One point, that's when Gamora was talking to Star-Lord. That's the one point of that entire movie that's just like, well, if you miss that, who cares? Everything else is so important from beginning to end of that movie. So that's why, to me, that movie is.
I agree. I agree with you. I do.
I agree with that. I think it's more of, if you love the characters, you'll love the first part of Endgame.
For sure.
I think that's more of the thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I respect anyone. I respect anyone who feels that way. But for me, I'm kind of like, well,
I get it. Yeah.
You spent what, 10 plus years establishing all of this. I'm aware. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, now it's kind of like, I don't need to live in the defeat. I get it. They were defeated.
Mm-hmm.
I need to move past that. I need to get right to it.
For me, the second half of Endgame, though, as much as I love Infinity War, is why I like it a little bit more than Infinity War. It's just because of what you said. And I agree with you. I think the only scene that I liked in the beginning of Endgame is when Thor goes for the head. That was the best part. When they find Thanos.
Yep.
And they literally just, I mean, and no one saw that coming, really. Because everybody thought, okay, well, they got to fight Thanos again. They got to get the stones again. And then you find out there's no more stones. He destroyed them, and they take his head off. So other than but after that, I agree. It does slow down a little bit. And there were parts that probably weren't needed, especially, Steve shaving. But
you're right. And I don't mean to call that out. That's
no, but it's funny. It's funny. I guess they had to explain why he went from having a beard in Infinity War to not. But they could have done that off camera like they usually do everything else.
Exactly. I only say that because I'm like, that's some of the downtime of how that movie
and I'm agreeing,
starts. I don't want people to think I'm nitpicking on like, why do I need to see the man shave? Like, I don't have an issue with it. I'm just saying it's the downtime. But anyway, let's hit play. We're all at the we're all at the point of the volcano exploding, right?
Hold on one second.
You there?
I just want to make sure there's no audio. That's why.
Okay. You there, Trevon?
Yep.
Okay. As soon as you're there, Joe, let me know.
Got it.
All right.
Ready, go.
Hold on.
Okay, muted. I'm sorry. An ad popped up.
You're good.
Give me a second.
Okay.
You good?
All right. What 206 you said?
Yeah, 206.
Okay. I'm here.
All right, ready? All right, we're gonna hit play at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Love this shot, like you said, Trevon, finger guns. Yeah. That's the deviant. It's more deviants. Love the Superman moment there. Love this Brainiac moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who is this character?
Oh, hold on one second. Let's pause it here. Pause at the 227 mark. Who's what character?
The one that was stroking Jolie's face.
Oh, he's just a deviant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's no one specific. It's just a deviant, and I assume that's probably the leader of the deviants.
Okay.
Because he's, again, from this trailer, he's the only deviant with a face, like an actual.
Right.
It reminded me, face wise, it reminded me of one of the children of Thanos. Which one is it? I think the one with the staff. What was his name?
Corvus Glaive.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, obviously not too much, but just a little bit of the face structure. I thought it was Corvus Glaive, but all right.
Yeah, that still breaks my heart. They did the Corvus Glaive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So seeing Icarus in full Superman, I swear, each time I watch this trailer, I'm just like, someone has to call Henry Cavill. We need Superman. Like, all this trailer made me think was, God damn, I miss Superman on the big screen.
Yeah.
This is no shot at Superman and Lois. I love season 1. Great show. I need him on the big screen. And just seeing Icarus fly through the sky with the eye lasers and punch really hard is just like, That's Superman. You
What are
know
your thoughts on some of the chatter online about him possibly being in Bad Guys? Do you think that's true?
what, Icarus being the bad guy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about that. In the comics, he was the face of the Eternals.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I don't see it in the trailer, but I picked up some chatter about it saying that they have a feeling he's going to go evil for some reason. I don't know why.
um,
He was talking to her at the beginning, right? Like he was sitting there,
yeah.
he was like,
Well,
"What's happening?"
I mean, it could happen. I mean, to me, this is a superhero trope.
Mhm.
So I hope that it does not happen, but maybe one of the deviant's powers is that it's mind manipulation. So maybe he manipulates him to face his family. And obviously at the end they save him, and he continues to be the leader of the Eternals.
Yeah,
I guess to me, I don't. I've gotten that so much. I don't need to bait and switch. If he's
gotcha.
a good guy, keep him a good guy.
I agree.
If he's a bad guy, keep him a bad guy. You know
We
how
saw
very vanilla I am about that.
we
Yeah.
saw he was going to Athena right there. Like her eyes turned white. He was like, "You can't help them." So maybe I'm wondering what he's doing to her right there. Like
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
the Brainiac moment, like you said.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, look, she went. Chloe went. If I'm pronouncing her first name correctly, the director.
Zhao.
Yes, she went balls to the wall with this movie. I can't see here where Kevin Feige said no to her for anything, really. Like, I can't imagine she pitched anything that Feige said, no, you can't do that. Like, this movie essentially looks like she had the run of the mill. Whatever you want to do, have at it.
Not only that, he also basically endorsed this film even before it came out for Oscar nominee. He basically said this movie, the scope of it and the way it looks and the way it feels might actually be an Oscar-worthy Marvel movie. So I mean, and she is an Oscar winning director. So
Yes,
you can tell it. Look, you can see it in the trailer. You really can.
you definitely can. Yeah.
And I want to speak to this. Me and Trevon spoke about it earlier, but I wanted to get your opinion on it before we finish out the trailer. We only got a few seconds left. Kit Harington is playing the character Black Knight.
Yeah.
They've been holding it very close to the vest on whether or not he gets his sword, whether
Yeah.
or not he suits up. What's funny, Trevon, is Joel just said, I wonder if Black Knight suits up in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, we literally are just talking this. And he's like, and I'm like, well, I imagine he would have to. And he's like, well, technically the movie's not about him. But then again, why even have him in it if he's not going to be Black Knight? So, Joe, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is kind of like a stepping stone, or do you think it's like, well, why have him here? Because he's not an Eternal. So it's like, well, why have him here if the point is not to give us Black Knight?
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing, because you really don't see anything much about his character of Black Knight in the trailer. I think they're just holding it close to the chest, and I think we'll get the reveal when the movie comes out. You're not going to cast a character like Kit Harington in a film and not really use him. I don't see that. If he is meant to be that character, I think we're going to see him suit up. I do, towards the end.
And again, Black Knight does team up with the Avengers. So
you think Joel saying that this is going to be a stepping stone and maybe join the Avengers or be a part of that?
Well, he was just saying if he doesn't suit up here, this is just the first step, and then whenever
I can see that
next,
this is the intro to his character, and then we'll get Black Knight.
Right. I was telling Trevon, I mean, hell, DC just gave Peacemaker a show.
Yeah.
So it's possible Black Knight could have a show, a Disney Plus series where they explore him more. And I was telling Trevon, I don't need that. But then again, if you had asked me 4 years ago, I would have told you I don't need a Hawkeye series.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I want a Hawkeye series. So to me, that's what I meant by stepping stones. But to me, it's like, no, don't hide that. Don't wait on it.
Does he have he have a love thing? Is there a love interest between him and the girl that he was talking to?
It's actually a love triangle.
Okay.
He was with Icarus.
Gotcha. That's right. Okay, I remember hearing that too.
And then I believe, because I was telling Trevon, in the comics, Sprite wipes their minds so that they could live regular lives.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe when she does that, they forget that they were together. And then she starts the new life with Kit Harington's character. And then when they get the memory back, Icarus is just like, wait a minute. you was my wife, wasn't you? Like, hold on
Mm,
a second. Wait a minute. Who's this?
Well, if that is the
That might
case,
be a little hard.
that might be the catalyst to turn Icarus bad.
and to
Leave it to a woman to break your heart.
and to
That's
save him,
real.
does she give, like, in the comments, does he like manifest the sword, or is it given to him, or what?
No, Excalibur is. I think it's called Excalibur. It is
So
given.
it is Excalibur.
I
Okay.
think you're
I think it's
right. I think it is Excalibur. I remember hearing that.
Yeah, I think it is. Let me
I'm just
double check.
wondering. I'm just wondering if she's gonna give it to him to save him,
Oh,
like
she
him
might give it
fighting
to him.
Icarus.
She might give it
to
to
fighting
him.
Icarus. Yeah.
Let me double check. To fight Icarus, like, hey, he will beat your ass if you don't have a weapon. Let me build you something real quick. That would be hilarious. Hold on. Let me see here. An able scientist, Whitman built on the discoveries of his uncle, Nathan Garrett. He rides a winged horse and has a power lance that fires heat and force beams. Also wields the ebony blade. That's what it's called. The
Ebony blade.
Oh.
And I heard isn't it like it doesn't it I've looked up some of this stuff. It's kind of evil too, or something. Like, isn't it like corrupting? Like, it can corrupt him.
There's a
something?
villain this night. Yes.
Yeah, it's not like a good. It's not like Excalibur. It's actually a bad. Like, it can corrupt you or something
Yeah.
if you use it too much or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd
But
be
it is
interesting.
called the ebony blade, and it was a sword fashioned by Merlin the magician from the Starstone meteorite. So
technically, it's Excalibur.
It says
right.
in the Marvel database, and I didn't click the link, but I'm just reading the quick notes underneath. It says Sir Percy, the Black Knight, wielding both Excalibur and the Ebony Blade. After the death of King Arthur, Sir Percy, the first Black Knight, took up Excalibur.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a different Black Knight?
Yes. So essentially, from what I'm perceiving of this, the original Black Knight dies, and then the spirit of him is who goes into the modern day version of the Black Knight, who wields the ebony blade,
and that's Dane Whitman.
Yes.
Okay. So we were both right, because I do remember hearing Excalibur. I mean that's a sword that we all know from King Arthur.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
But it's the ebony blade.
Gotcha.
All right. So let's hit play. We're at 227.
Gotcha.
All right. I think it's a deviant attacking Icarus.
All right. Let me know when.
All right. 1, 2, 3. And again, the Superman moment. God damn, that deviant looks strong as hell. And I love this.
This right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was good.
I love this.
This is so much. This is like, for me, I was like, okay, he mentioned vibranium. Like, is he the reason it's there? Like, I know they say it came from an asteroid. My mind just went everywhere. I was like, so it came from an asteroid. Did it really come from an asteroid? Did they wipe their memory of where it actually came from?
Well, I'll say this. I don't think they got involved. They clearly told us they didn't get involved, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if they like go with that. They say that, but I wonder if sometimes they deviate from what they said. Like, from they're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I will say this. I will say I would prefer if you keep it the meteorite, because it was the Panther God. Right. Essentially that guided them with the power and whatnot. It was the Panther God. Yeah. I don't want that to change. That to me is very sacred. And I do hope they keep it. Now, if you want to say what Fastos did help them with, and maybe the vibranium was like a gift, is like you said, the advancement of their
know how to use it, the ability to know how to use it,
how to weaponize it. If he helped them with that, I would have no problem with that.
Now I'm starting to remember. That's why I feel like they don't. They say they're not supposed to involve, but I feel like they do, because I remember in that. I don't know if it was the first trailer or whatever the trailer we got before this. I remember one of them like touching the ground and helping crops grow or something.
Well, that was around when they first. I'm assuming. Here, let me not say it definitively. That might have been when they first landed, and the idea was, because remember, what they're saying is they can't get involved in like wars and stuff like that. But the whole purpose is to see if the planet is sustainable. is it something that's worthy of the Celestials not destroying?
I thought it was more about the people, like to see if the people are viable.
Oh no. They need to know that the world, it's hand in hand. So I think it was more so they can't get involved in otherworldly things like their wars and stuff like that. But obviously, when you saw them go into everyday life, it was meant for them to be amongst the people. So if they wanted to help grow crops and whatnot, I think that's what they're there for. Right. I think they found a loophole in it, but it's like, hey, I can make sure you guys have food to eat, but this guy that can blow up your planet with his fist, I can't help with that. You're on your own. You gotta do it yourself. But no, I love the line Icarus telling Faustus, like, I assume this whole house is like, your safe haven, you got weapons and whatnot. And he's like, what is this table made out of vibranium? And he smashes it and he's just like, how about that from IKEA? Like it's not, that wasn't a weapon of any sort.
It's a full collection.
Right. He's like, yeah, this is a regular house. No, I don't have any weapons here. So that was definitely both of their end credit scenes for their trailers is what stole the show for me. The first one being, Captain Rogers and Tony Stark are gone. So the Avengers clearly need a leader. And Chris is just like, I'll do it. And it's like, no. no, clearly no. It's not meant for you. And in this one, obviously the table being smashed. But I love this trailer.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited for this movie. Doesn't come out till November. I hope it stays pat. Someone that works for the Disney higher up said it's going to stay pat. I hope that's true. And again, I hope Shang-Chi and Eternals do have not a short theater window, but a short window to where they release it on Disney Plus for purchase. Because I feel like those two movies are something that I want to experience more than the one time. And I don't want to have to pay $15 each time I want to go see it. I want to pay that $130 fee and just have it for forever so I can just keep going back to it.
And this is why they don't want to do that. What you just said, you could pay $15 every time.
Yeah, but here's what doesn't make sense. If let's say these movies average what? Let's say Marvel movies average $800 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're telling me half of those people are paying a $30 entrance fee, you're still making your money. $30 is the price of 2 tickets. And here's what you have to assume, Trevon. If I'm buying the ticket, right? Most people see movies once.
Right.
Only people like me are insane enough to want to watch something 80 times.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept. They pay the $30 once and they never pay it again to come see it again. So at least this, you're paying a higher fee, right, of $30 rather than if I went myself, which is $15. You're paying the $30, it's yours for forever, as opposed to $15 once and then I'm never seeing it again. It's literally the same thing.
Unless you're seeing it in IMAX, because IMAX tickets run you about $30. I usually see Marvel movies in IMAX because especially a movie like Eternals, if this does get, it's gonna, as long as it gets the window that it's supposed to and it doesn't get, pushed back, but that's a movie I want to see in IMAX. And those tickets, when I was going with somebody, I was paying like almost $50-$60.
Yeah.
Just for 2 people. So they are making their money one way or the other. But I agree with you. I think that most people, not all, but most, only see the movie once. So you're right. You're only really paying the one entrance fee, and then you're going to want to watch it at home. And if you're paying $30 again, you're making your money somehow.
Right. So, I
feel like it should be, I think it would work better if it was 90 days. Like they're talking about the 45-day window, which means it'd be a Disney Plus in 45 days. That's a month and a half. So like, that's not long at all. Like I feel like if they did 90 days and then did the Disney Plus premiere thing, then it would make more sense for them.
Here's my thing.
45 days is a problem.
Here's my thing. Yeah. Just let it be concurrent. Let it be concurrent to each other. It doesn't have to be in either or. It can be both. We just saw Black Widow. It seemingly made more money from its Disney Plus than it did from its actual theatrical release. Run them at the same time. Because clearly you're going to make money either way. Just run them at the same time. I think what their fear is I pay $30 and I just invite like 80 people over my house and we all watch it.
Yeah.
But it's like, again, what their math isn't adding up to is it's the same thing that doesn't make sense about Netflix. If I have Netflix and I give my password to 8 people, right? What they're not accounting for is there's like 80 billion people on Earth. So the law of average of each person doing that still adds up to a whole bunch of subscriptions because people have to buy it to then share it. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's the idea of your money's still coming from somewhere. And at some point, we have to realize that the value of box office today isn't what it used to be. And it's going to take a while for it to be that again. People just got accustomed to, I have the, HBO Max giving it to us now.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the world is heading. So to me, Disney Plus it, so I can buy it now.
Before the pandemic was even at the height of everything. And, but this was before they even decided to put these movies on streaming. I actually wrote to another YouTube channel. I wrote in one of the comments and I got blasted for it. I said, I think they should start to adapt to a streaming where they're putting these movies at home for a premium. I said, look, hell, as a Marvel and a Star Wars fan, right? If you would have told me back in December of 2019, I would have had the option. And all right, maybe $50 might be a little too high, but if you would have told me I had the option to pay a premium, $50 to watch The Rise of Skywalker from home, I would have done it.
Yeah,
I would have done it because I'm a Star Wars fan. And a lot of times, look, granted, I even said this, I like to watch big action, big budget films on the big screen, especially IMAX. So I can understand why people still like to go to the theaters. I'm not saying that I want to exclude the theaters 100%, but there were times that I paid a premium, as I said, $30 for a ticket, and I didn't enjoy the film because I had people behind me talking, or people were, or just in general, that it wasn't a thrilling experience, and I'm paying a premium price.
Right.
So giving people the option to also, like you said, concurrently do that, they're still making their money somehow.
Yeah. And that's, to me, that's all that matters. It comes down to them, the dollars and cents. And if the dollars and cents are there, shouldn't be an issue. There should be nothing we're arguing about. Move along and do what's right. And what's right is adapting to the times, and the times right now call for you to release it in streaming. I mean, hell, the Green Knight came out the beginning of this month, end of last month, beginning of this month. It's available to rent already on major streaming platforms. So to me, it's like, well, clearly that's a movie that would have made more sense to just have a pure streaming release where people could have said, oh, I'm already paying $12.99 for Netflix. This movie is essentially free. Hell yeah, I'll watch it. Yeah. But movies like that, people, especially in the pandemic, they're not spending $30 to go see The Green Knight.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's no knock to The Green Knight. I haven't seen it. I plan on renting it today.
Yeah.
That's no knock to it, but it's a small movie.
I think
it's not your Fast and Furious, Transformers, Avengers, Batman movie.
I feel like that's why they need to realize that for some of these movies, just like right now during a pandemic, nobody's gonna actually come to see this, because it's like if it's a blockbuster, they can pretty much get you somebody's gonna come, like a good group of people gonna come see it. It's not a blockbuster that's like, oh, I have to see this in the theater. Probably not gonna do it.
And I'll tell you what, Dune will be the first big experiment of that, because it's in the middle. It's in the middle. It has the star power of a blockbuster movie, but I think there's a lot of people that saw that trailer and were just like, okay, like whenever I get to it is when I get to it. I don't think a lot of people feel like, oh, I have to be there opening weekend. I have to see this, which is why that movie will do a lot of good coming out on HBO Max, where people can just watch it at home.
I'll be watching it.
Damn, this was a good movie.
HBO Max.
A good movie.
Yeah.
So that's why I said that'll be the first big experiment, because if that movie makes more money in the box office than it does in its home release, then we know, okay, people just want to be back in the movies. But if it doesn't, we can then say, you guys have to just acquiesce more to streaming. Streaming is where it's at. But all right, guys, this has been our full breakdown of the Eternals trailer. I want to thank Trevon and Joe for joining us.
Sorry, I joined late, guys.
No, I
fine,
contacted
cool.
you late.
You did no, you didn't. I didn't answer you till like almost 30 minutes after I was in the middle of watching the movie.
No. I'm just glad you joined because I did want to get your opinion on it because we don't get the pod that often.
Right.
So
No, I honestly, guys, I love this trailer. I really do. And I can't wait for this movie.
Yeah, me too.
I did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And guys, Shang-Chi is only 2.5 weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Avoid spoilers. Joe, you were watching a live stream. I already said it last night. One of the big platforms gave a spoiler as their post. I don't know if they took it down. I unfollowed them because
I haven't seen any
blocked
spoilers. I'm not. Yeah.
Last night while you were talking about it, I went to that page and like blocked it. Like as soon as I got to the page, I looked away and
Wait,
blocked
which
them.
platform? Which platform did it?
Heroic Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah. So just make sure you guys are staying away from that.
I wonder I know he's affiliated with the rap. I'm a little worried what if they do it too. Like
no, are you talking about Umberto?
Yeah.
Umberto's actually a really good friend of ours. He doesn't. I don't think he's officially directly involved in Heroic Hollywood anymore. I think
really.
I think
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think the rap is his baby. I think he left Heroic Hollywood to do the rap. I think
thought they were still doing both. Okay.
He very likely could be. I could be wrong.
Was this a leaked rumor or this is something that
no, this was never
the movie.
Okay.
They saw the movie.
This was never a rumor. No one knew of this. And obviously I'm not going to say it. If you want to
no, because I don't know what you're talking about and I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what they released was something that no one knew about. But when you hear it, you go, oh, it makes sense. But it was nothing that anyone even remotely thought about.
Okay.
And clearly, whoever wrote the article saw the movie and then just released it. And it's just like, well, no one else did, right? Like, that was a press thing. We didn't get to see it. Like, Tia got to see it. Clearly she's press. But, like, I didn't see it. Joe didn't see it.
There's an embargo usually.
Yeah, that's the problem.
No.
Yeah.
The embargo has already lifted. It's why people were able to review.
The social media one is not.
Right.
The social media one's fine.
Right. Right. That already lifted. It's why they were able to write the article. But yeah, so just make sure you guys stay clear of spoilers. Enjoy Shang-Chi for yourself. Make sure you go out to theaters September 3rd to go see it.
I thought the embargo was a 24-hour window of its theatrical release.
That's movies they're scared of. They're not movies.
That's not always. There's usually two embargoes. There's a social media one.
Okay.
There's a full, like, where I can do a video.
Full review. Yeah.
Right. So there's usually two separate ones.
Gotcha. All right.
So like, for example, we got the screeners for Titans.
Mm-hmm.
We missed the window for the social media embargo where we could just go, guys, we saw it. It's great. Stay tuned for August 13th or whenever to check it out. And then the other embargo is where, as you see, we're making videos reviewing it and whatnot. So that's the full breakdown. Social media is usually just a few characters describing your initial thoughts, and that's
and at this point, even the press screen doesn't even matter because they had a fan screening last night.
Right.
So it's like now it's just gonna be worse. The fans don't have any embargo, so it's like who knows what they'll say.
I'll tell you this now. If you haven't read it, delete it.
So when's the exact release date? September what?
3rd.
September
2nd.
okay.
September 2nd, you can see it technically.
All right.
Thursday night.
All right. So that's only a couple weeks out.
Yeah.
All right.
It's still a long time to stay off Twitter though.
That's
a week and a half, really. A week and a half. It's a week and a half out. Yeah. But all right, guys, that's all we got for you. Make sure you guys stay tuned for GVN Talk tomorrow. Trevon, I'll send it to you. We actually have a new video intro.
Oh, okay.
GVN Talk. Shout out to Dakota, sent it to me this morning. Joe, I might reach out to you, see if you want to join Figure It Out tonight.
Okay, let me know.
We'll talk. But all right, thank you guys for tuning in, and until next time, peace.
All right, peace.
Good night, guys. All right, have a nice day.